So let me turn this off so y'all can hear that in the background. I was watching Boomerang. You can blame this. This is not a tech thingy. You can blame this on Jamal because Jamal sent me this video with like more information. So I got inspired and I wanted to talk some more about it. Hold on, I'm trying to see what's going on here. Hi, whoever that is. I see one person has come in. I'm just, you know what? Let's have a little music. Let's have a little music while we let people come in. I can't really everything. Oh, it's be rain. They should have never let me. They should have never let it be focused in this be rain. Yeah, I'm just letting people. I'm just letting people come here so we can have these vibes. Yeah. What is this? I'm sorry, I have to go to Kwiins. I would watch this stuff all day long. I've had a very, hey y'all. Hi. Let me look at this. Let me look at that. I'm just getting myself together and let y'all come in. Okay. It's rain, girl. But I got the what's that called? That moisture protected, the one in the silver bottle. I got that in my hair too. Don't worry. Don't worry. What's up? Where's you? Where is it? You said you watching Black Mirror. I've been watching. I guess I could turn the music off now. Obviously. I'm watching. I was watching Boomerang, but I've just been watching random YouTube all day. Been finding a lot of new channels that I'm into. Girl, I've just been having the kind of day that I've just been very thoughtful. I've been like trying to plan out what I'm going to be doing if I'm going back to school in the spring, not because of anything negative, but just like before before um what's that called? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We I guess this could be the pre-show. This will be the pre-show and I'll do my intro later. Um hey Lorenza, before I signed up for school for the fall, over the summer I actually got to a point where I was like, I don't think I want to go to school in the fall. Not because I dislike school or don't ever want to finish or anything like that, but I was just feeling like I needed to take a break. Or not even needed to take a break. I'm being honest, I feel like I just wanted to take a break. I just didn't want to have to be worrying about projects and schoolwork and deadlines and things like that. You know, I just was like, I don't really necessarily feel like being on that type of a schedule. Um, but the way that I'm connected at school, uh, I get like work opportunities when I'm in school. And so judging between, you know, stuff I needed to do for my daughter, for keeping her in school and keeping things. I just was like, you know what? No, it makes more sense. I didn't have anything necessarily in place to replace the income that I would have been getting if I were in school. So like last minute, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and sign up for school. And I did. And I did work study and I did all the things, and it served my purposes. So the semester's over. I'm sitting here. I told y'all I've been working on content plans or whatever for the upcoming year, the first quarter. And I was saying to myself, I find myself drifting again towards that idea of like, do you really want to go to school? And I was sitting and I was thinking to myself, long story short, like everything I've been doing up to this point, because I've been so busy. And I'm like, everything I've been doing up to this point has positioned me to be able to not go to school in the springtime and just focus on following the plan that I've already like very detailed laid out for myself. Like I have content plans, I have strategies on how I'm going to do the content. I have all this stuff set up where basically like me from the past was thinking about me for the future and set me up so that this time when I'm coming around to making that decision, I have things in place to give me confidence that I don't necessarily have to go to school. And the beauty though of even though I went to school, even though that I was like saying, oh, something in me doesn't necessarily, something in me wants to be able to free my time up to focus on other things. But like I said, my concern was money. The way that I did this and the classes that I took this semester were fundamentally connected to the work that I'm doing. It helped me shape and like clarify what I was doing to be able to be in a position basically where now I can just kind of focus on content creation the way that I was focusing on school, if that makes sense. So it's like everything is aligning, even if I don't see all the parts, even if I don't necessarily know, pieces of me that do know and are connected are helping me pick my class, are helping me make these decisions moving forward that align with ultimately what it is that I want. And I guess you're like, well, ultimately, what it is that you want? Ultimately, I do want to finish school, right? But I know that like the way that I've been doing school isn't going to last forever. And there are other things I need to do. And just basically like, I feel like I'm recognizing a way to get what I want out of the things that I actually want to be doing at a higher level. You know what I mean? So I don't want to get, too far off track of what we're actually going to be talking about. But yeah, I was just sitting and thinking and praising God and just sitting in the reality of what I built for myself, sitting in the reality of what it actually feels like it means to be in alignment with what it is that I want, sitting in the fullness of, the purpose that I find in the steps that I take and the things that I want to put my time and energy towards. And just all types of stuff. So I was having those feelings and thoughts. I was actually preparing myself to come and do a live about the coding and the app and everything like that. Then Jamile sent me another video. This time this is a video from the girl that's actually suing the girl that we watched the other night. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a review, like a quick review. I'm not going to go line for line, but I'm going to try and find key moments of the last live we did where I wound up talking about this case, and so that we can be and the thing is I had originally I had picked psychology, but I had a sociology class this time. I was like, oh my God, I don't know where I read it, but somebody was like, sociology is what people think psychology is. And that's so true. I found sociology to be what I thought psychology was going to be. And so I really enjoyed my sociology class. Like I said, it helped me to frame a lot of the things that I was already thinking, but give me a more academic understanding of what I was thinking about and how I was thinking about it and why it made sense and what it was relevant to and everything like that, or why I could see all these connections and this and that and the other. Like, it helped me to clarify what I was already intuitively understanding about things going on around me and things that were going on with me. But and I took a sociology class, and I took a Microsoft Office class, like for the whole suite. And when I tell you that Office class, like, I already was using it, but going in and then having to do this stuff, and like I said, moving over to doing this stuff about the app and everything, to see how much of that stuff that you don't even think overlaps. It was just like, okay, wow. So, just everything gets used, every experience, every lesson, every bit of wisdom, all the like, everything is just getting used. And that is a great feeling for me. And to me, I think that's what it means to be in alignment, is that everything works towards the ultimate goal or whatever. Like, nothing is wasted. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. But now, like I said, Jamal sent me this video of the young lady who was being mentioned, in terms of the one who started the suit and everything. She's giving her side of the story. I gotta be honest, when I was watching it, I watched the whole thing. They don't be having very long videos. I watched the whole thing, and at first I was just kind of like, but then the more she was talking, and I making that effort to listen, I was like, wow, there's really something important here, in terms of all of these things that I talk about. I'm always talking about alignment. I'm always talking about, like, trying to find, I always say logic is subjective to your objective. So there's a lot of stuff to look at here, in terms of, like, how they're missing each other with their objectives, how things that both of them are saying that sound very similar are off because of how they're going about. Like, it's a lot here. So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was relevant, and I wanted to bring it to you, because why not? Why do I still have it raining? I ain't even I play too much. Okay, I feel like, I did have, no, it's up there. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this stuff behind the scenes, and I'm just like, stuff is missing, but it's not. Okay, all right. So let me think. I wonder if I want to do, yeah, so I'm going to do the refresh in the pre-show before I do. Please remind me. Or not, it's fine. But I'm going to do pre-show, where we kind of look back at what I was saying, what we were talking about the other day. And then we can pick up from where we left off. Because, see, when I woke up this morning, the girl Solar had another video. And open this in a new tab. She had another video, and so I watched that, and I was like, oh, this one's a little bit spicier. It's a little spicy. But I was just like, okay, girl, do your thing. But then, like I said, Jamal sent me this other video. Thank you, T. Jamal sent me this other video of KWIIN AVA basically saying, like, well, this is my side of the story. So I'm going to start with the first video we saw, which was baby girl talking about, how she's being sued. Or I'm going to my video where we're talking about that, but we're just so we can brush up on that. Then we're going to do KWIIN AVA's video, because I'm trying to do this chronologically. I feel like KWIIN AVA's video response to that came before the video I watched of Solar's this morning. So we're going to watch Solar's original video that I saw. Then we're going to watch Kwiins. Then we're going to watch Solar's response video, I'm assuming, to Kwiin's video. Just so you know, all of the original videos are in my description box if you want to go to the horse's mouths and see what they're talking about themselves at any point. They're down there in the description video. So, okay, let's see here. All right, so let me try to find, let me talk about this, that, and the other. Okay. In there. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So, what was I saying? Let me go back and see what you said that I was.
Sharing our side of the story for transparency and to document our experience as entrepreneurs and creatives. Disclaimer: nothing in this video should be interpreted as legal advice or as a statement of legal fact. All statements made in this video reflect our personal opinions based on our own experiences and understanding. We make no legal assertions about any individual or entity discussed. We do not encourage, support, or condone any form of harassment, threats, or negative behavior directed toward anyone mentioned in this video. Everything expressed in this video represents our own personal opinions, which are protected under the First Amendment. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only. So far, we've received 2 copyright strikes on our YouTube channel, multiple.
Okay, so does the girl so we have all the money for this? I don't know. Like, I know now, I know how much it costs to do the patents and stuff like that, and it can be upwards of like some thousands of dollars depending on like what all your trademarking and or patenting and this and that and the other. It could be ranging from $60 for provisional. Provisional gives you a year of being able to say patent pending, and then the next ones go up to like hundreds of dollars, up to like about $600-700 in total to be able to fully lock down an idea, branding on it and everything like that. So what is interesting to me and what I say, I feel like this person doesn't feel like a real person because see, okay, so this here it says on behalf of Queen Culture settlement discussion. Where is it recently? You cannot. Hold on. I want to go back to where it says here. This it says last message. I am close to the family and have worked assisting them for many years, but this is not Miss Nikki. I do have permission on what I can post on their behalf. I do post their photos, videos. So now to me, it gives you're pretending not to be you. You get what like it doesn't feel authentic because what am I trying to say? It gives performance of proximity to these things, if that makes sense. So for instance, like I know about patents and stuff now because I went, I'm learning as I go. And so I know some things. And if I were to sit up and be like, oh yes, now I am the expert on it or this or that, and like it gives, how do I explain it? It gives like a lot of times when Black people, we get some kind of information about things and then we kind of, because we may know more than the average bear, we take on a posture of like, yes, and now I am the authority on it. And so I'm moving in a way that what's that called? With a bravado, but not necessarily there's something off. You know what I mean? There's something off, there's something missing. You might not necessarily be as knowledgeable as you are presenting, if that makes sense. Okay, just want to come in here very quickly to say that particular statement, keep that in mind, because like I said, I have new information. I got to see what the other person is saying at this point. And so I have some slightly different opinions about that, but I just want to mark, that's important to mark that is an initial feeling that I was just gleaning from just going to that person's social media and trying to like suss out what's going on. So to me, it gives performance. It gives performance of knowledge. It gives performance of doing. There are major overlaps, right? But it says it should
watching, here's a quick backstory. I started my brand Solar Being in 2021. I made and still make face pendants and lip body butters all by hand. And I spent years vending at different markets around Southern California. I met Ether, and then we did that for a couple of years until one morning I literally woke up and noticed that all of my business supplies were gone and all of the things that I need for my business were stolen. I just pivoted and I changed the way I looked at my business. I started learning about social media. I became more consistent and I started getting familiar with creating content. And I focused on stuff that I wish I saw when I was younger, and that has remained my focus to this day. Around late 2023, I went viral for recreating a natural hair sculpt that I saw from a photo that was taken back in 1971. Natural hair sculpting has been a thing way before the 70s as well. It's older than all of us. So ever since then, I've continued the practice, and then I ran into a few problems that I wanted to solve. Like, how can I save time doing hair sculpting? I also wanted to make the practice more accessible for the children specifically. It's really important to me that the children see the beauty in their natural hair textures early. And I know that even if their parents were able to sculpt their hair, it may not last all day, or it's not something that they could just practice all the time. It doesn't last.
I want you to also keep that part in mind. So this part specifically, she's saying that, and I need to be writing some of this stuff down too. Hold on, I'm trying to give me a piece of paper because it gets deep. Okay, so Solar is saying that she wants kids to be able to use, kids being Black little girls, to use her products to build confidence and appreciation for, I'm going to use in quotes, natural hairstyles. And we were all, laughing and everything about how she was emphasizing in the video we watched, the second video we watched, again provided by Jamal. Jamal, you bestie. Where she was saying, like, I'm doing this for the children, this is very much so. This is something that has been emphasized from both people. This focus on what they're trying to do for little Black girls with 4C, very tightly coiled, kinky hair.
It's a high maintenance practice. And so that's why I came up with the Solar Being sculpted hair extensions. So to prevent this video from being copyright striked, I don't want to add any pictures of my sculptures. The children look cute, as you can imagine, and so did my adult models. So obviously running a small business is a lot. And if you're an entrepreneur, you already know that it takes serious time, energy, and money. That's when we decided to launch a Kickstarter campaign, but to grow our business, improve our production, and to make more art. And that's when things started to get really weird. Kickstarter is an all or nothing platform. That means you have exactly 30 days to meet your goal, or you lose everything and you have to start over. And the pressure is real because Kickstarter makes your campaign progress completely public. So everyone can see how much money you've raised, how fast you're growing, and how close you are to reaching your goal. And unfortunately, that kind of visibility can attract unwanted attention. Crowdfunding platforms allows everyone to file a DMCA takedown, even if the claim is false. And when a DMCA is filed, Kickstarter is legally, along with other platforms as well, they're legally required to freeze your campaign immediately until you appeal it, and then they review it. So in the middle of trying to raise funds and promote your work, you're dealing with a very real possibility of someone filing a false DMCA claim on your campaign, shutting it down overnight. And that's exactly what happened to us. DMCA stands for the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It's a US law that was passed in 1998 to control how copyright works on the internet. So basically, anyone can say, I own this copyrighted content, someone posted my work without my permission, please remove it. And here's the part most people don't understand. The entire system relies on claims, not proof. So on the same day that our Kickstarter completed, on May 12th of this year, 2025, I received an email. It was from Kickstarter, and it was telling me that a DMCA takedown request was filed. And as they usually do, they send you the claims that were submitted, and this is what was said in the letter. My client is the original creator and brand owner of a distinctive visual identity centered on Afro hair designs, styled into unique shapes such as hearts, stars, and flowers. This aesthetic is a signature of their content. Now, this is what we understood after reading.
Okay, and this is my little 2 cents. Throw it away, because again, I did not know about this person until like this morning or last night. I don't even remember. I did not know about this person until like last night, right? But again, when I go to her page, I see, is it still up? I think it's still up. Yeah, it's still up. We're going to go to this thing. When I go to this girl's page, yes, she has this thing here at the top. I see these little star puffs. Okay. But I
I see all of this extra. You get what I'm saying? There is so much else that she has going on. You see what I'm talking about? Like, there's so much more going on here than those hearts and stars. That's why I'm saying, like, I feel like this is sour grapes. Because, girl, the span of your range in and of itself, look at this. You know what I mean? Like, it's stunning. This stuff is stunning. Okay, here we have this. But mostly, okay, I see some hearts. But I don't know. I feel like mostly it's the other artistic things that stand out to me more. So for her to come after this girl, I don't know. She said hearts and stars aren't unique. They're not. With all this other unique, striking, clearly, vividly unique things she has there. For her to come after these little hearts, and you get what I'm saying? That's where I feel like it's just she's seeing her getting traction, and so it's like, ugh.
This part. They're insinuating the idea that they have invented the look or the concept of sculpting these shapes into their hair, and that these hairstyles belong to them as a part of their brand identity. They're saying that these shapes are their signature, and therefore anyone else who creates these similar shapes is copying their aesthetic. So immediately we file a counterclaim. The entity doesn't have a product. They're arguing about the hairstyles that they made with the hair on their own head. So within a few days, Kickstarter got back to us, reviewed the situation, and eventually released our funds, because essentially they freezed our funds, so we couldn't get it in time. So there was a delay. But after we were able to receive the funds, we carried on as normal. But then literally a few days later, we received another email, and it was in the form of a cease and desist letter. This was on May 15th of 2025. Here were their list of demands. We must insist that you immediately remove or disable access to all social media content that contains references or promotes sculptural hair designs that are confusingly similar to signature styles, including but not limited to the star, heart, butterfly, and flower shapes, or other trademarks or trade dress used by, or that otherwise appropriate their likeness, as well as cease and desist from producing, marketing, or selling any hair extensions. So in this letter, they were basically asking me to not only take down our products from all of our social media platforms, but they were also asking me to take down my regular hair sculpting videos. So that's really important for people to understand that in the beginning, this was not just about my products. They took the opportunity to also ask whatever styles I've done that has like a star in it or a flower shape in it, take those down too, because this is ours. Like, you're confusing the public. Like, these are our designs. That's essentially what they're saying. But it continues. Refund all pledges received in connection with their Kickstarter campaign. Yeah. So at this point, we hired an attorney. It was important for us to not only just protect our business, but also to protect ourselves, because this was just escalating to a point where I'm just like, okay, what is going on? This is something that we did not account for. We didn't account for legal fees. And if you're an entrepreneur or business owner and you decide to run a Kickstarter campaign to really help your business, make it budget for legal counsel, because this definitely set us back. We were looking forward to hiring help so that we would be able to teach others how to do the sculpted hair extensions so that we could produce faster. And that just set us back a bit. When we were trying to resolve this conflict, we really stood firm in what we believed was right for us and what was fair, because what was being asked of us was not fair. And we tried everything that we could within reason to come to a resolution. They were just not having it. And we just decided to say, okay, instead of going back and forth, we just left it alone and moved on. But what ended up happening is that the issue with this entity never went away. A few months later, on October 20th, my YouTube received 2 copyright.
No, let me get big. I'm so sorry. I cracked myself up with that. Okay, so can I be bigger? Okay, I'm bigger. So this is how I feel about it, which is ironic because, again, because the work that I want to do through this app involves being able to put us in the arena to compete and protect ourselves in this arena. Like I say, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we're doing, and yes, I know I use the example of the guy with quarter zip thing, but they're not in like an active beef or anything that I know of. It's more so about being able to protect yourself and say, hey, actually, it's me. You know what I mean? In that, but where someone is actually attacking someone and trying to like stop them and shut them down, this blew me away. I'm blown like Felicity. You know what I mean? So yes, definitely, and it does feel anti-Black in that, they could have came together. Like I said, I only know about Solar because of Zaina. Now, mind you, Zaina has her own lane where, yes, she has her natural afro and she does all types of stuff with her own hair, but she also does her little bits where she recreates, cartoons and things and songs and videos and whatever with her body. So she uses her entire body. You know what I mean? And she's a bodybuilder. So she has many, but again, that's why I don't know what else Solar does. I only know her for this hair stuff. But when I go again to the other creators page and I see what all she's doing over it just seems to me like you have an abundance of creativity, but you're mad because this person was able to get some traction on this thing that, yes, you were doing within your repertoire. But to me, there's the same thing as when, like I said, Jules LeBron. I talked about Jules LeBron earlier, when Jules LeBron went viral for saying very demure, very cutesy, and the other person came out who, again, maybe had mentioned being demure within their repertoire they could came maybe they could came together, and then she could have, Solar could have helped her launch into, she could do the more avant-garde, like Solar does the basic ones, and then she could do the ones with the color and the patterns, and I don't know. I just felt like there was an avenue there where everybody could have won, but now it's become this contentious thing, and it's like she looks weird to me. She looks weird.
A hairstyle can be washed out. It can be brushed out. It can change the next day. It's not permanent. It's not a preserved object. It does not stay the same. So even if you record a hairstyle, the only thing that becomes protected or is considered fixed, like I said before, is the video or photo, not the hairstyle shown in the recording. So I just want to make this really clear. Just because we say hair sculpting, calling it a sculpture doesn't change what it is. The method is hairstyling, and the result is still a hairstyle. So now the infringement part is where it gets really interesting, because this is when the tables really turn. She's a Solar Being has willfully created and distributed replicas, imitations, and unauthorized derivative works of sculptures, misappropriating creative expression and goodwill, and has commercially exploited products derived from their original works through online platforms to their detriment. So here they're basically saying that I made copies of their hair by making hair extensions. She's a Solar Being launched a campaign and promotional materials that included a product called the Star Puff, the same moniker they had long used to identify their star-shaped three-dimensional sculpture. We'll touch on this later because they're even trying to claim the name of the hairstyles as well. And finally, they go on to say, has filed a lawsuit against She's a Solar Being in the federal district court. Now we're being sued over a hairstyle argument. So how can someone actually do this? Because everything we know to be true is real. You can't own a hairstyle. Even if you claim it to be a sculpture, it doesn't change what it is. So how could you file a federal lawsuit? And plus, they don't have a product. We started investigating. So I saw that the lawsuit was filed on October 3rd of 2025. Now they're saying that I'm infringing on their trademark. So I'm like, what trademark are you talking about? So it prompted me to go and look for the said trademark. And this is what I found. It was a trademark application 993-48604. Application filed on August 20th of 2025. And to be safe, I blurred the images, but I will link the official USTPO page in the description. Trademark applications are public. Anybody can view them. And I am also not responsible for any of the information that they submitted with their trademark application. This application includes drawings of the exact hairstyle shapes that have been the center of this dispute, amongst other styles that they're also trying to claim. They include outlined drawings of the hairstyles that they're trying to claim as their trade dress. Like, this is the way that they package themselves for the public. This is what they're applying it for as a trade dress application. So I'm like, there's no way.
And mind you, like I said, now, again, I don't know nothing else about this lady but what I saw on the thing, but I, did a preliminary scans through her Instagram and then at the Twitter. And again, I'm not seeing nothing. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of, content. Hey, Summer, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of content. I haven't been to Solar's Instagram or anything like that, but like I said, everything I've known about her has been about these sculptures, has been about doing the little hearts and the stars and horseshoes and all that, in her hair. This other girl, like I said, if I went to her page, I would see, oh, she does hair sculpting, but I wouldn't necessarily go, oh, yes, she does heart stars and horseshoes and this, because it's not. So that's mostly what Solar did. And then her and Zaina were doing like letters together. But mostly she does the hearts and the stars and, little cutesy girly things. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this other girl kind of missed her calling, missed her lane, doing a whole bunch extra, which she does so well. Again, this is not me trying to say, oh, she's stupid or she's wrong, but like what she does is amazing. And I feel like if she put more energy into finding out like how to expound on that, as opposed to how trying to stop her from getting farther in the way, getting the traction that she's getting, that she could probably go way beyond. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like I see her being, I don't know, somehow getting into fashion, high fashion. You know what I mean? Maybe working for fashion houses, fashion week in the back for doing people's hair. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I feel like she's missing out on her opportunities that were actually for her with her particular frequency that she's on, but she's so busy trying to stop her from being able to advance, right? But this is right, because I just started saying that's what came to my head. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put us on a little bit of a breaky break. I'm going to give you a little mood music, and then I'm going to come back because I just literally have to go up the street and get my daughter. Okay, so I think that we have a good enough idea. Like I said, the link to that video itself, not me talking on video, but her video, is in the description, as well as the other videos that we're going to be looking at here. The videos about this. We may look at some other like TikToks and stuff too that I didn't, because I just was focused on these things. But the video of her, then the lady she's referring to that's suing her, and then another video of her responding, I think, based off the timestamps, is in my description box. So now that we got that, I'm going to go ahead, play the intro, and then we can get to what you guys haven't seen over here anyway. Some of you may have seen this stuff on your own, but we're going to start from where we are now. This is a
You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Okay, so now we're going to watch KWIIN AVA, who is the woman in question that is suing her. She's telling her side of all of this. I think it's interesting. It definitely gave me some more context. I feel like, why is it not letting me? It's fine. We can go on this page. I feel like while I have a bit more sympathy, a lot more understanding of her perspective. I did hear some things that makes sense to me, but like I said, there's some issues. There's a lot of nuance here that I felt like would be a good exercise in kind of analyzing when everything is said and done. So I'll just let her do the talking for her. Let me do theater mode and share this. I suppose it is playing, but it's not sharing. Hold on. Even though it said it was supposed to be sharing. Okay. There we go.
I filed a lawsuit against her behavior has become at this point. She's been targeting me, my mother, the Queen Culture Foundation, anything that's attached to my name. The way she's been constantly posting about us has triggered a mob-style pile-on from her followers. Foundation attacks, personal attacks, waves of harassment, all because of these false narratives that she keeps posting about me. I don't know. We've never met. We never had a phone conversation. We have zero mutual friends. The only interaction that we ever had was a couple DMs back and forth about a potential collab nearly 2 years ago. I agreed to the collab, and she was the one that decided she didn't want to follow through. After the first defamatory post that she made about me a year ago, I reached out to her like an adult, but she ignored my DM.
Beat her ass. Find where she at. Go to the same spots she be at. And when you see that bitch, beat her ass.
This is a small part of what I've been dealing with because of...
Sorry, we need to jump in right here. So this was the first part where I was like, okay, girl, because my thing was, we just heard that was a very inflammatory thing. I would imagine that's not a good thing to hear someone saying to you. But what was unclear to me, and I have to infer because she never clarified, is that, hey, Jabal, it's your fault. What's unclear to me, and I'm going to have to go ahead and assume that is not solar, because she did not specify that was solar. But putting that into this, to me, felt a bit along the lines of the type of thing that I was talking about. Like, it makes me feel distrustful of her intentions and everything, because like, why would you put someone saying that, but it's like you're putting that on her back. basically. You get what I'm saying? It's like you're putting that on her back. Now, like I said, I know for certain that she never mentioned her, like the same way she's Xing out her stuff when she's referring to her. The girl X'd out her stuff when she was referring to her. I only know that this is you. I only know about you because I went to the paperwork, which is public record. You know what I mean? So yes, she put you out there, but she didn't put you out there without anything that is something that you came to her with the bullshit. Basically, you get what I'm saying? You went to her, so she's not using anything that wasn't handed to her by you in terms of identification of you. This is a very inflammatory thing. I'm not saying that you should be okay with people talking to you like that, but like I said, inserting that into this in this context was very specific and intentional without specifying. Yes, you use the language like, oh, well, this is happening because of her. But the way that was done, if a person wasn't doing all of this critical thinking, they might think that that was solar or someone that's solar. You get what I'm saying? Like the implications of that is something very specific that put me, gave me pause.
Posts. Despite not knowing me, they posted about me over 150 times across all platforms, spreading false narratives about my character, my intention, and my business, falsely claiming that I'm trying to control black hair and gatekeep the natural hair sculpting space. No one, including me or any of the millions of black women on this planet, can be told what to do with their hair. Why would I, someone who makes very dramatic hair sculptures out of their hair, tell somebody else what to do with theirs? Please make it make sense. The idea is ridiculous. Everybody's been saying, oh, leave those young girls alone, leave the younger creators alone. I'm 23, 25, and each 28. Grown women. Now let's talk about ownership because this is important. Here's a screenshot of what Sophia has publicly stated about filing for a patent. Now, she's not filing for a drawstring ponytail that already exists. She's filing for the star afro-shaped design, which would be an attempt to claim ownership over the visual appearance of a star-shaped afro puff. I'm not sure why there are so many videos criticizing me about copywriting my star puff design when a design patent is literally the same thing. She gets encouraged to file for a patent, and I get crucified for filing for copyright. So the outrage directed against me for protecting my work doesn't make sense, especially in the light of all this. I can't confirm whether or not she registered.
Okay, so on the one hand, I get where she was coming from when she was saying that. Hold on, can I? Hold on. Let's say, hold up. Where am I at? Bring me the money. Okay. I get where she's coming from, where she's saying, like, okay, you all are mad at me for, even though I hadn't seen anything about her trying to get a patent until this. So, okay. Or maybe I did. She might have put it in her other thing. I think, because like I said, the video I saw this morning was, I believe, a response to this video, but I'm just seeing this video tonight. So I get that frustration of saying, like, oh, you guys are vilifying me for doing the same thing she's basically doing by trying to patent the thing that she's making. Right? However, it's something she just said. What did she just say? I just threw myself off. Just that quick.
For protecting my work doesn't make sense, especially in the light of all this. I can't confirm whether or not she registered for a patent. Those are public until they're published. But what I can confirm is that there's...
Okay, yeah. So she says she can't confirm that she doesn't know if she patented something or not. But I guess she's saying people are encouraging her to patent these puffs. Now, this was the first that I was understanding. I guess it makes sense that it was synthetic hair or something, because I wasn't even thinking that far into whether it was synthetic hair or natural hair or anything. I'm just like, oh, she's trying to sell puffs. So this is where I'm finally kind of getting a fuller understanding of what it is that the problem is for her and what's going on. She's saying that and this is my problem, she's saying that her branding, it has to do with the star puffs. And she's saying that the girl is trying to sell these synthetic puffs, in the shapes that she has on her hair naturally, with manipulation, but naturally, and that it's infringing upon her branding. Again, I want to reiterate, and this is just me, I can't speak for everybody. The first I'm hearing of this person is from the girl mentioning I'm being sued, and then, like I said, me going to the paperwork and then following the trail to this person. Never saw this person in my life. That's number one. Number two is on the video that I was showing you of me doing commentary on this when I went to her page on that video. What I saw, even before that, but what I saw when I first ever went to her page, I wasn't automatically going, oh, I associate her with star puffs. I associate her with hair art, hair sculpture, what, just a broad, the idea of artistically shaping your afro into shapes and colors, because she had colors, it was paint, like it was like almost like makeup work with hair. So I associate her with hair art, totally. Hair sculpture, fine, but not those puffs. So at this point in the video that I'm watching, I'm just kind of like, okay, girl, but yeah, I'm still of the mindset of, I think you're just upset that she's getting some traction in an area where you're doing a lot of great work, but I don't think you were getting the traction that she's getting now with this little aspect of what it was, all that you were doing. But again, I can understand frustration. I can understand the frustration. But wait, there's more.
No star puff registration as of the date of this video. I'm not trying to own a hairstyle, and I would never want to, but my art is protected, as any creative or artistic brand of work should be. Protecting my art does not affect Black women as a whole. This is also not going to affect any future hair sculptors that want to enter the space. This only affects one person, the person who copied the protected elements of my work and tried to monetize off of them. Owning a hairstyle is not even logically or legally possible. Intellectual property protection, trade dress, trademark, copyright does not stop everyday people from shaping their hair. That's not how this works. This is why it's important to listen to people who actually know what they're talking about, instead of getting swept up in narratives designed to trigger emotion. The only limitations are posting so incessantly that you're causing brand confusion. Everyone is free to shape their hair in stars, hearts, sushi rolls, it doesn't matter. Please do. I've been dropping tutorials on how to sculpt your hair for years. Since I started my social media journey, I'm putting y'all on game. I do not gatekeep. This is the kind of imitation that causes brand confusion. For the record, we never asked her to take down any of her original hair sculpts. Only the 250 posts that mimicked my artwork. What's happening now isn't just about copywriting my work. There is a real pattern of Soul attaching herself to me and building momentum off of me. She first started gaining traction.
Okay, so this is where I start kind of going. But again, I'm speaking from my perspective. I don't know them very intimately, but I know Solar for at least the last 6 months. Again, I told the story on the last video because I saw Solar with Zaina. And from Zaina, I became familiar with Solar. And then I would just start seeing Solar. Never seen this person. So this thing of talking about like brand confusion and this and that, and the only thing I'm confused about is who are you? You get what? And again, this is not to that does not mean that she's not anybody. I'm just saying, like, for me, it's hard to go with the brand confusion thing where I'm just like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? But again, that's just my perspective. Clearly, she has other people that know her and know of her work and everything. But again, wandering into the room, I'm like, oh, what you got going on is amazing. But I'm still not getting the branding of I'm the Star Puff girl. You're the hair art girl to me, as someone just coming in. And that's where I say I feel like that was the upset of like this girl was able to successfully brand that. That's where, my opinion was coming in. But again, there's still more.
Because she was mimicking my star, heart, flower, and butterfly designs with her real hair. I then came out and said she was inspired by me. Not a bunch of lies, not a narrative.
Sorry, yes, because there's so many things. So as I was listening to this, then she says, I then came out and said she was inspired by me. Now, I don't know when that happened in the thing because I'm not, I wasn't there for the unfolding of this. But if what Solar says is true, that you went into her comments where someone asked her a question and you inserted yourself and said, "Oh, she said that this, that, and the other." Mind you, remember earlier in this very video, she said that she never met her. She doesn't know her. But you know for a fact that she's inspired specifically by you. How could you know that? And how could you be the one to go into and answer that question that was asked of her about her inspirations or whatever? But I don't even remember what the question was. But basically, you took it upon yourself to tell other people in her comment section that she was inspired by you. I feel like that's an opinion. That seems like an opinion to me. And you might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm talking about like how these things are looking in terms of hostility. And you get what I'm saying? And a picture is starting to be painted in these actions. So it's like coming and being like, "Oh, I don't know why this girl is coming at me." That's you. You're doing some things. You're doing some things. Again, but there's still more.
Narrative, I just said she was inspired by me. I took that and made a video accusing all these things. I was bullying her. I harass people. I'm gatekeeping. None of this is true. And then immediately after that, she drops these star puff hair extensions that don't mimic her natural hair, but mimic the same density and the same volume as my puffs.
Okay, so this is where I started going, okay. Again, this is not saying I'm on either person's side, but I'm like, I'm starting to kind of find your logic here. I'm starting to kind of see where you're coming from.
And throughout all this, there is no proof of all this bullying and harassment that I apparently do to everybody that enters the space. No proof. You guys just believe the narratives with no proof. And now I'm sitting here fighting for my life, literally. This whole narrative that I think that I invented hair sculpting, dead. I went to cosmetology school and graduated with a master cosmetology license. I've been to a Bronner Brothers hair show. Look at this video right here. This was posted years before all this chaos. Me paying homage to all my ancestors that did hair sculpting before me, even though my art looks nothing like theirs. I know that I'm not the first person to shape their hair ever. Original is in my bio because my art is original. My art style is original. Having original in my bio is not me claiming hair sculpting or claiming to have invented it. There's a clear pattern of her attaching myself to me and my work, and every time she does it, it blows up. And honestly, at a certain point, it starts to feel like she's trying to step into my destiny instead of creating her own. What you're seeing now is a real attempt to push somebody out of the niche, and it's not coming from me. I simply asked her to stop recreating and selling my artwork, but she chose to make it public, and it made hundreds of posts about me, accusing me of anything she thought would stick. So when you put the two behaviors side by side, me privately asking her to stop copying my artwork versus her going public, posting non-stop, it's clear who's acting.
This is just a personal opinion that gave performance for me. It gave, like dramatic performance for me. That little aspect of what she did with it. But about what she was saying in terms of like, "Oh, she's just making up this stuff about me and I'm being private." Like I said, what she again, I only saw her video before this. Hey, exclusively elusive, how you doing? Thank you for coming. What she's saying about her copying her, and then like she's making it like the girl is following her around. I don't know, because again, I'm not following either one of them. I only knew of the other girl. I would see her with her videos. Like I said, I saw the first stuff I saw of her was actually doing letters with Zainabear. That's how I saw her doing letters with Zainabear. And again, I seen Zainabear doing different stuff with her hair. So I didn't necessarily associate her. I don't even think I didn't know about the puffs she was trying to sell. I didn't at all know about the puffs she was trying to sell. I just knew that she did hair sculpting. I knew that that was her thing. I had seen her a few times talk about just wanting people to be happy with their normal, regular hair. So this thing she's saying that the girl is now she's getting popular because she's doing exactly what she was doing. But like I said, when I went to her pages, I saw a plethora of things, up to and including those puff things. And yeah, it was pinned at the top saying I'm the originator of this thing. But old girl's been doing it consistently. It fits more into, I think it's easier for her to brand those puffs specifically because everything she's doing is so avant-garde. Also, that's what makes me feel like she's stretching with this, because it's like, if you're saying, I'm listening to what she's saying I'm not trying to keep people doing this. Okay. I'm not necessarily trying to gatekeep people recreating it. Okay. I'm trying to gatekeep, and she's going to get more. And she has some very specific things that she's going to explain that she's trying to gatekeep. But she's saying she wants people to be able to do these styles, but she's upset with her for branding off of her branding and then monetizing off of that branding, and then something else she hasn't mentioned yet. Let me see what you guys are saying. So, okay, I had to view it. Trademark and patent are two different things. Patent is literally owning new inventions, processes, and discoveries. So she's literally stopping the other woman's bag specifically for the stars. Yes, specific for the stars, the hearts, the flowers, and the butterflies. So I had seen videos of Solar before. I don't follow her, but I've seen her videos occasionally in the past. Yeah, me too. I've seen her around. I haven't seen Kwiin, or she said Queen. She was pronouncing it KWIIN AVA before.
Actions are aimed at removing somebody else from the space. This kind of harm is exactly why defamation is included in the lawsuit. This is not legal harassment or a baseless lawsuit. My life, my livelihood, my business has been affected. This is the normal and necessary process of protecting your art. Please, everyone, don't believe for a second that I don't want you to also experience the joy that comes with shaping your beautiful afro hair. A huge part of me is heartbroken that we are even going through this, and that it had to be taken this far. She has made her own creative contributions to the hair sculpting niche. I also want to make something very clear from a brand and personal values standpoint. The Star Puff and the entire Sculpted Hair series are deeply rooted in Black cultural expression and my own lived experience. Because of that, I'm not comfortable with my art or anything derived from my.
Okay, this is where you really need to listen, because this is where it gets a lot more specific, and this is where I can lean the most of my opinions on from here on out. Hey, Mara, I saw you earlier this morning too, but I was busy. I had Stephanie on.
Being marketed to a non-Black audience, especially when it risks being treated as a novelty or used in a way that feels dismissive or mocking the culture that it came from. I've seen comments.
Okay, I wanted you to catch what she was saying right there. She's saying she's uncomfortable with the idea of non-people being able to utilize these kinds of hairstyles. So basically what she's saying in a nutshell is her issue with old girl is that she's creating a product that can be used for non-Black people. She's concerned that this woman, and based off of the other video that we watched the other day after that first video, in my video, she was accusing Solar of marketing to non-Black people. That's where I'm just like, okay, I think I see some things going on, but I'm gonna let her finish, and then I'll come back with what my full thoughts.
Where Black people are joking about purchasing these Star Puffs, and this is the exact dynamic that I don't want associated with my art or my brand. This is not what my work represents, and this is not aligned with my mission or values. I made it clear that she's willing to sell these Afro textured pieces to anyone, and that's her choice. But since the Star Puffs are directly related to me and my brand, I don't support this direction. And I don't want my brand or my work to be associated with practices that don't respect the cultural significance behind it. I keep saying I'm gatekeeping Black hair. What I am gatekeeping is cultural art, our cultural expression, our magic from people who treat it like a joke, the exact kind of behavior shown in her comment section.
Sorry, I know I said I was going to come back, but I'll forget. So here's my thing with this angle. White people going to do what white people going to do. And we know what white people do. They colonize. Bonnets, all types of stuff is going on right now. Like, we see it every single time. And while I'm with her on improving literacy around intellectual property law and how to protect our stuff, because we are the culture, point blank period. Whatever's going on, somehow, some way, every time we do something, it all of a sudden becomes the culture. Now, so all of a sudden, AAVE is now, what's that called? What's the new generation? Gen Z slang. Now it's all a Gen Z slang as opposed to just being AAVE. So things like that happen to us all the time. I'm with her. 100%. I'm with her. But this idea of like, I'm going to stop white people from being able to utilize this or something like it by stopping her specifically, I think that's a cope. I think there's a lot of things about what she's saying that I feel like have been, okay, as human beings, especially as principled people, people that believe in purpose and things like that. I think we're dealing with two young ladies who have a very strong sense of purpose around racial identity, around, little girls. And I'm saying this is someone who, they speak a lot like me, the both of them, from different aspects. I see myself in both of these young ladies. And so I get where they're coming from with like cultural significance. They're both saying, they want to be able to do this so that little girls have points of reference. I talk about points of reference all the time. Little girls have points of reference to show them that their hair is beautiful, their hair is desirable, their hair is fancy, their hair is professional, whatever their needs are, their hair can meet it. They're both aligned in that. I feel like, though, based off of what she's saying, I feel like she's making this up. Not that it's not a real thing, but her idea about being able to stop it, you're not going to be able to stop white people from doing something like that if that's what they want to do by stopping her specifically. She is not the gateway into Black culture, because we've seen it so many times. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to go pull it up. It was last year sometime. There's some white lady online selling either faux locks or extension braids. I don't remember I think it's like faux locks, but she makes these colorful faux locks out of synthetic hair, and she had them all in her hair. And I remember looking at it and just being like, full on white lady. She's not even dolazoling it. You know what I mean? Like, she just full on just white lady. And Black women were coming at her like, girl, what are you doing? And she was just kind of like, I'm gonna do what I want. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing. So I'm saying all that to say, to make it this thing of like, oh yeah, she's trying to open up the door to white people. Now, girl, let's be real. And in the video I did the other day, where we wound up watching another video, like towards the end of the live stream of Solar, she was like kind of going into the accusation. I didn't understand at the time because I hadn't seen this, but she was kind of going into the accusation about her trying to, or was that this morning? That probably was this morning. We might see her address it, but she was going into the accusation of like her trying to sell to white people. And she's like, it's illegal. And it is illegal. It's illegal to be like, white people can't buy this. It's illegal. It's illegal. And I say all the time about my stuff, like stuff that I do when I'm thinking and conceptualizing these things, everything that I think and conceptualize is for and about Black people. I'm not thinking about the needs of white people. I'm not thinking about, everything that I am doing is, every nuance of it is centered around Black people, and specifically Black women and children. I think that that's understood. And I think that that's understood about Solar as well. So that's why, like, when I hear this, it's like, I get where you're coming from. It's an argument. It's an argument. But no. I believe that I'm not knocking the hustle, but I believe that this is some bullshit. What you're saying, like, not the fact that you care. The fact that you care is not bullshit. But this idea that, this is why she's doing it. That's the way, again, it's about the tone. The same thing as when she slid in that person harassing her. That person was harassing her. But it's about the connotation of being clear about, okay, and what does this person, other than the fact that they're riled up about this situation because it's become public, but what do you expect that girl to do when you are trying to get her to stop doing what she's doing, like what's working for her? And I want to be clear, this is not me trying to say, she should just sit back if she feels like she's being wronged or something like that. I'm more so talking about intention and being very clear and precise. What was that movie called? The Giver, where they were talking about precision of language. And it's about precision of language. It's about precision of intention. It's about precision. It's about clarity. It's about energetic clarity. And so what I'm saying is, I always felt like, even beginning before I got to see and hear her voice and her perspective and everything, I felt like the energy of what was going on felt like coming from her side. It didn't feel righteous. It didn't align with the righteousness of like the language and stuff being used. And now I know why. Is what I'm saying. Now I know why I feel like things are off, because I feel like the story she's telling herself is, I'm protecting the culture from white people by stopping this girl from doing this thing that she's doing. When in reality, as we'll see as she talks more, I feel like they're like in terms of alignment based off of what they're both saying. And I feel like there is a way forward that's not this. That achieves what is being said by both people that they want to do.
Cultural art deserves guardianship and it deserves respect. And if I don't set those boundaries, then the meaning behind it gets lost. We got YouTube videos.
Someone was detected at your front door.
Oh my God. Those are books?
The book has arrived.
Oh my God.
It's real. But you just happen to have Star Folks on too.
Monetizing was not my first priority. I knew that if I was going to release a product, I wanted it to be meaningful. Now for the real reason that I applied for a trademark and trade dress applications. It's dear to my heart. Meet Ave avant-garde. Ave is created from my hands, my mind, my lived experience. I've spent the past 2 years sculpting my hair and then hand drawing Ave to match those same shapes, ensuring that every character look reflected the real artistic work that I created on my own head. Before the hair art, I had my drawings. I have been drawing my whole life, so you guys don't understand how deep this goes. I had always envisioned and dreamed of having my own character. Ave is here to normalize natural hair in its highest expression. She's here to be a comfort character for little black girls who need to see themselves somewhere. She's here to show them that their curls and coils are not a burden that need to be covered, but an art form. That's Ave's entire purpose. That is the entire purpose behind my art and what I do. Ave is intentional and purposeful and deeply rooted in cultural pride. I created Ave to inspire specifically little black girls to love and nurture and realize that their hair is not something to be hidden. It's something that can be sculpted in.
Sorry for interrupting her, but I'm saying, like, isn't that what old girl was saying she was trying to do with the puffs? Isn't that what I'm not seeing outside of, we put a pin in this idea that she's saying, because I get where she's coming from, this idea that this is for little black girls. And I'm concerned about white people doing what they do and taking this thing, and that this thing that that Solar is creating is going to make it all the easier for white people to come in and do what they do with all the other meaningful art that we create. I understand what she's saying, but I feel like I don't want to call it possessiveness, right? But that this idea around ownership and that feeling that we've seen so many times in public spaces of that's my thing, and somebody is able to utilize my thing in a way that I'm not able to get the value, the notoriety, the whatever it is I think I need or I'm entitled to from having that ownership of it. This person is taking it from, we talk about destiny swapping and this and that and the other and so forth and so on. I feel like, and I can't sit and say, because I don't know, I can't sit and say that Solar never saw her stuff before. I just know I had never seen it. That does not mean that Solar never saw it. That does not mean that Solar was not inspired by the stuff she was doing. I'm inspired by it. I'm probably not going to be doing that. But like I said, just going to Kwiin, I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. I'm reading it as Quinn, and I can't stop. I mean, Quinn, I heard her say Queen. So I guess I'll just say Queen, and if I sound crazy, that's fine. Or I'll just say Ava. When I went to Ava's page, undeniable talent, undeniable, distinct, it jumped out at me what I saw. But a star puff did not jump out at me. And even as I'm looking as she's flipping through that book, a star puff is not the only puff her character is wearing. So that's where I'm saying, like, it doesn't feel, there's righteousness in, her feelings, but I feel like certain parts of the ego are like fanning the flames, feeding the wrong tiger. You know that little thing is there's two tigers that live inside us, or two lions, whatever. The wrong tiger is being fed here. Because I feel like the both of them have the same goals, and their execution are slightly different enough where I don't see why they can't both exist. But if it weren't for this righteous idea of, oh, I'm trying to gatekeep from the white people. I'm here to tell you you're not going to do it. I'm here to tell you you're not going to do it. Not in this timeline, right? At this point in this timeline, you're not going to do it. At this point in this timeline, it's not going to happen. But what you could do is come together like a megazord and lock that shit down together. I think you might get farther along in it. That's just me.
Expressive and imaginative ways represents creativity, limitlessness, possibility. And the painful part is that the narrative that Soul has been pushing is the exact opposite of what I've been working so hard on. Something that was meant to uplift children, restore pride, and celebrate the magic of our natural hair has been twisted into something so ugly and false by people that don't even know me. A 4-year creative journey now being overshadowed by misinformation. So when someone takes that mission and twists it into something so dark, it hits deep because it's robbing the children of the message that I've been working so hard to build. She's already targeted me. She's targeted my mother. She's targeted the foundation. I wouldn't be surprised if she targeted Ave as well. The star puffs are Ave's signature look. They represent natural hair in its most imaginative form. I saw a lot of comments saying that people shaped their hair into stars when they were younger, and I want to let you know that I see you, and that's exactly why all this matters. The trade dress application exists because Ave is directly built from the original sculptures that I created. The application specifically covers children's books because Ave is meant to live in homes, classrooms, after-school programs, libraries, anywhere children grow. The IP protection was never about stopping people from sculpting their hair. Sculpting is cultural, sculpting is ours. It belongs to us as a community. The protection is to ensure that Ave, born from my original work, isn't taken or commercialized by a company, big or small. We've all seen what happened when these non-Black companies take credit for Black creativity, Black imagery, Black aesthetics, and then turn them into profit machines with zero connection to the culture that they came from. I protected my work so that Ave can make it to the homes of the children as I intended, with integrity and cultural respect. Artists, business owners, people who have online brands, you know what this is. When you create.
I want to highlight this comment right here. Says, or y'all remember when Gaga had the bow ponytail as part of her fame tour, and then all these stores had ponytail bow extensions. Did Lady Gaga sue? And that's where, because I said when I started this, that for me, this is a conversation about energetic matters as well, and energetic commerce. And that was my point when I was in my last live discussing how I felt about when I went to Kwiins page, to Ava's page, and immediately was just struck by, the vastness of her artistry. I feel like she's doing herself a major disservice. And I'm so glad that I watched this and I got to see like her passion around her character, because I, as someone who is into very deep, detailed, nuanced brand building, I get it. That's what I'm saying. Like both of these girls, I see myself in both of these girls, and that's why I'm just like, come together, right? Because with Kwiin, there is this very this luxurious. I feel like Kwiin has a luxury experience, and then Solar is accessibility. You know what I mean? The every woman. And while Kwiin Ava, while Ava is going for this idea of, artistic sovereignty, being in control, ownership, it's more of a symbolic gesture, I think, and she's looking for it to be revered, more reverence, whereas Solar is bringing a practicality to it that she feels is way too accessible and cheapens it. Like, I understand what's going on, but I feel like Solar is in more of a, from what I know, I could be wrong, but it seems like solar is more of a collaborative place because, like I said, I've seen solar collaborating with someone. I've seen that. That's how I know her. I've never seen this person, and nothing that I went to of hers had her collaborating with anyone in the language that she's using, both just speaking about this and the language of the law. Someone was right, like that is the tool of the white man. And I'm saying this as someone who, I said this about crypto, I said this about everything. It's not about, oh yeah, you need to just dive in and try to the deep end and try to do what white people are doing, but you need to know what's going on because these are the tools they are using to terraform reality around you. Every time we come and we complaining about what the white person took from us, but these are the tools. So yes, we need to know. I feel like it's important for us to understand the mechanics of what is happening to us, because only then can we even begin the work of trying to figure out how to protect ourselves or whatever else we may need to do in terms of that type of understanding, right? We need to understand these languages. So that's why I'm saying I'm with Ava on, helping our people understand these systems and how they work and how to use them. But I feel like here it's a little too close to home for her. Like I said, the other girl is getting traction in a way that she maybe wasn't ready for. Because like I said, when I look at her brand, and that's part of what my idea will do as well. It helps people to like refine and pick out exactly what their branding is and get on track with their branding. I just feel like Solar's branding of this around this subject was a lot clearer and easier to take action on than Kwiin. Kwiins was more if I'm saying it wrong, I keep seeing it in lights and I keep saying it Ava. I just feel like Ava was still kind of in the ether with it and just doing the art and everything like that and was refining it, but it takes longer. Like I said, when you're that deep of an artistic person, because that's where I'm in the middle here. I'm trying to find that balance between that artistry that it has to be just right and let's efficiently get this out, because a lot of the times what you thinking you want to do artistically, people would have took it 10 steps ago. You know what I mean? And paid good money for it. I know it's KWIIN AVA, but I'm talking about in terms of, I've heard her say Queen. I was reading it as Quinn. I see it right there in her background, but I've heard her say Queen. And so now my mind is fighting against, my manners, because I want to say it the way she says it, but I'm reading it that way. And so I'm getting anxiety around being disrespectful. Yes, Solar's is more, it's easier to market because like I said, when I go to Ava's page, I just see the artistry. I don't necessarily see a product. I see something to be appreciated, like she wants. I see stuff to be appreciated, to be marveled at, to be inspired by, but I don't necessarily see anything where I'm like, oh, I can do something with it. And the same would have been true for Solar had she not, again, clearly etched out a way to make it accessible to people. You get what I'm saying? So that's where I'm saying I feel like Ava is kind of sore about that, because she wasn't able, she was getting it together and putting so much into it, but here this other person is coming and she's getting so much traction and it's happening so fast, and like I get it. It says she used the star of Macy's and the star of the Cowboys logo and Argos. She owns a star. Oh, she going to talk about how it's different.
Create something original, whether it's a photo, a drawing, a beat, a hairstyle, a dress, whatever. It comes to your mind, your hands, your vision. And when somebody copies that and tries to profit off of it, that hits different. Now, I want to address some of the main comments I saw about this chaos. One of the main ones is, it's just a star, you can't protect a geometric shape. First, my star is not a flat geometric star. It has a sculptural form, dimension, and structure. And second, geometric shapes being protected is not new. It's been happening for decades. Just like Macy's protected their red star and the Cowboys protected their blue star, I'm protecting my Afro star. That's my work and my contribution to our culture. No one is stopping me. What I'm building is bigger than this moment. And if I let one person take what I've built, that means anybody can take what I've built, including corporations that come for Black creativity. So much misinformation has been spread. I never claimed that a hairstyle itself is copyrighted. What's copyrighted are the original photographs that I created back in early 2023 and late 2022. And those photos are protected under copyright law. She applied for a design patent. A patent would give her a 20-year monopoly over something that originated from my art. The only way a patent like that works is if no one else has a prior protected claim. So of course she's upset about my copyright. She can't get the patent now. There's a profound difference between our real hair, our coils, curls, the history, and plastic extensions shaped to resemble it. Presenting that imitation as Afro hair and offering it to anyone, regardless of their race, isn't respecting Black culture.
And like, so this is where I said, like I said, I came in kind of being like, okay, girl. I listened and I was like, okay, girl. But this is where it got back to okay, girl, because again, this is that same thing that I feel like she did before, where she put that person talking to her like that I don't believe was so. She didn't say it was solar, and it didn't sound like solar. I don't believe it was solar, but it's meant to make you go, oh, that girl solar sent that person over there, or somehow associate that with solar, as opposed to somebody else taking it upon themselves to do that in the name of solar. Right. So what I'm saying is, this idea now it's pushing that narrative of, oh, she's trying to make it accessible to white people. There's a difference. There's a difference between I want to make it accessible to white people, and I know that white people will have access. There's a difference. And again, legally, there's nothing we can do about any of that. Nobody can do that about any product. I mean, you can shame them. You can try to shame them, but there's always going to be a few that's going to do what they want to do regardless. And there's going to be some that's going to do, because they know that you're upset about it, they'll do it just because you're upset about it, right? You can't stop that. You can't control that. And the thing is, again, even if she were to successfully shut this girl down from doing, like I said, I tell you right now, if we dug enough, we probably will find one right now doing it on their own, independent from either one of you. There's a white person, an Asian person, because it's usually them. That stylistically, it tend to be white people, Asian people do it the most. Right now, probably right now, with puffs of some kind that they fashion. Not necessarily, don't have to be star puffs, but let them get an inkling that these things exist. They'll be on it. You won't see it in some K-pop. Watch. Watch. Just right up their alley. So this idea of like, I'm trying to protect the culture from her and her ilk that are trying to sell it to what? I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And I feel like that's a convenient way of structuring this idea in her mind so that it doesn't seem weird and odd the way it's coming off. Because even I went to the actually, I guess we could see. They tear her up in these comments. Can y'all see? They saying the same types of things that y'all are saying to me. And I want to be clear. This is not me wanting her. This is not me wanting her specifically. I'm talking about Ava to go through negativity. This is not me wanting her to be dragged. This is me saying, I see why you're specifically being dragged. And I don't think you see why you're being dragged. And I get the story you're telling yourself about why you're doing this. It makes perfect sense. But I don't think it's accurate. I think it's a story you're telling yourself to feel righteous in how you're doing what you're doing. I feel like there's another way. Because if this is really about the children, and I'm talking about for both of them, because I felt a little wish the other girl is now adopting that too, of like, I'm fighting. Y'all are fighting for yourselves. Let me make sure you can see me when I'm saying this. I want to be clear that I'm saying this, and I'm saying this about both of them. I feel like at this point they're both fighting for themselves. Because even when Solar, and I think we'll see it when we watch her video after we finish Ava's video. Even when Solar was doing it's for the children, like we were kind of laughing yesterday, like, okay, girl, you're laying it on kind of thick. All right. You know what I mean? Like we all was like, so I think now both of y'all are kind of leaning into this idea. I'm doing it for the children. I think y'all are doing it for the little girls inside of the both of you. But I think the grown women have the smarts and the ingenuity and the heart and the love of people and Black women and Black little girls to be able to get past all of that and come together and find a workable solution. Because this just looks bad. It feels bad. It doesn't feel good. It makes me sad. And it takes away from the beauty and the magic that both of what it is y'all are doing. What y'all are doing is incredible. It's exciting. It's fun. It's girly. I have an 11-year-old, and I know my baby would love some of them puffs. I know my baby would love some of them puffs, and she would love that book. And she would love that book.
It reduces something sacred to a commodity. For the people that deal with hair loss or medical conditions, your experiences are valid and they are honored. I understand that extensions can be a lifeline for confidence and support. I'm also not bashing women who wear regular extensions. In my time in cosmetology school, I worked alongside nail techs, lash techs, makeup artists, braiders, other hair sculptors. And I respect every last one of those things that I listed as genuine forms of art and profession. And no shade, you guys thinking that I'm envious over the hair extension idea is a little ridiculous to me because I'm a natural hair enthusiast. So I would have never wanted to say
that shade. She's trying to shade her and try to be, classist and say, oh, she's dealing with that nasty, and she's gonna say, she's gonna clean it up, but come on.
So fake hair. The star puffs represent the beauty and versatility of real Black hair. Now goes way beyond me. I created the Kwiin Culture Foundation to help artists understand their intellectual property because so many of us don't have the resources, the knowledge, or the support to protect our work when somebody decides to take it. The whole purpose of the foundation is to educate, empower, and protect artists so that they're not pushed out of their own creative space. Honestly, it's surreal to watch someone publicly attack the very foundation that I built to shield creators from the exact behavior that I'm experiencing right now. To see misinformation being spread about the foundation is so disappointing. It sends a dangerous message to other artists that if you try to stand up for yourself or try to educate others on how to protect their art, your efforts will be twisted into something negative. Artists shouldn't be punished for wanting to protect their intellectual property. They shouldn't feel shamed for using the tools that exist specifically to prevent their work from being taken and commercialized by someone else. And it's exactly why foundations like mine exist. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so that was her. She said, shout out to Meow Kitty in the comments. Shout out to Meow Kitty. Yes, there's confusion for that reason. Everyone wants to have a moral stance to gain support, but truthfully is for themselves. Yeah, like that. It's really given now. It's going to this place where both people are like, oh, I'm doing it for the kids. And it's just like, okay. All right. It said, this makes me think about Madam CJ Walker for some reason. You know why? Because that is the legacy. Madam CJ Walker, and I'm getting emotional. Mind you, I have cosmetology license. Madam CJ Walker was important because at that time in space, when I'm talking about time and space, right? At that time in that space, what she did was so out of that world, out of the realm of possibility. You get what I'm saying? But she did it. She was able to build basically what would be considered maybe in this day and time $1 billion company. She was able to change the financial legacies of countless women to this day. Like I said, I went to cosmetology school as a direct, indirect result of the work that Madam C.J. Walker did, because by the time that I was born, hair and entrepreneurship went hand in hand for a Black woman. Not just a Black woman, Black single mothers. It was just known. It was just understood. That's the power that we have of doing these kinds of things. That's the power that Ava is speaking to and trying to promote now, even though it looks like timing wise, she just decided to do all of this in response to this girl, but still, it's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there are righteous aspects of what's going on, but I feel like the focus is being lost because egos are getting involved, and it's like it goes from yeah. I was thinking today, when I said earlier when I started this, I was thinking today about our relation to the past and the future from where we are in the present. And there's other stuff. I get metaphysical a lot, but there's other aspects to that too, because I'm going to say this. I've said it here before. In terms of the powers that be, I'm talking about science-wise, all time is happening in this one instant. It's just that our brains can only perceive it in a linear way. So everything that ever has happened, everything that ever will happen is happening simultaneously. We can only perceive time in a linear way. That's just something to keep in your back pocket. But I think of things in those terms all the time. And one of the things that I've been kind of like playing with in my own mind in terms of like manifestation and just trying to get myself together and make my own dreams come true, things like that, is how can I kind of play with, if that's a fact, and I know that, how can I use that to my advantage? And so one of the things that I do is I've talked about it, gamifying my life, like making a game out of my life. What if my life was a game? What if, somebody said it before, that our bodies, the way we experience life, we're just avatars for that higher power. If I'm an avatar for that higher power, that means that higher power chose me. So that gives me confidence. I'm fat, Black, dark, unambiguous, whatever, titties hanging a little lower than I like them to, all those things. But Source chose the avatar of me. That makes me feel very confident. So that's something that, if I think of it from that terms. Another way I think of, I gamify my life is, what if in this moment I'm having awareness that in the future, I'm going to need the version of me that's right now to do certain things. If I could go into the future and find out what future me needs, what would those needs be right now? So basically, I pretend I got sent back in time to fix things, to change things. What would those things be? Because I know me better than anybody knows me, right? It's those types of things. I play with that on my own. So I say all that to say, to be in a space and time where you can see a fork in the road and there's a way to do something. It's all about figuring out what it is you want to do. What is it? What is your vision? I've talked about vision so much on here, why it's so important in self-actualization to know what your vision is. Somebody brought up, let me go back and put it back up. Madam C.J. Walker versus Annie Malone. Now, I saw the movie, and of course the movie is dramatized, whatever. But Madam C.J. Walker, they say you gotta think big. You're thinking small. She was thinking bigger. Because Annie was just like, look, I'm this thing, and I don't necessarily want nobody surpassing me. And Madam is like, this is what can be done. It ain't necessarily about me being at the head, but this is what we could be doing. I think that's the difference. I think that when we get so caught up, all of this stuff, and like me and Alicia have talked about it, and I've been different places where they talk about it. There's a collective consciousness, and this is also something that is discussed in government paperwork. And I'm not doing this like conspiracy theory type stuff. I'm doing this as a curious person, who just be in all types of stuff and just following rabbit holes and stuff like that. So we have a capacity to do certain things, but I think that we just get so caught up in ego. We get caught up in, the programming. There's a lot of things going on, and we'll have conversations about, energetic stuff, woo-woo stuff, generational curses and this and that. This is the mechanics of how that stuff works and energy work. These are the mechanics of how this stuff works. And so that's why I think it's so important. It's so important to kind of be able to step back sometimes, step in and out of our bodies and assess, wait a minute, what's going on here? What am I feeling here? Is this authentic to me? Does this align with my intention? All of these types of things. Because all of this stuff, online stuff, the social media stuff, this commerce stuff, this what's that called? Economy stuff, all of this stuff is designed to trigger you into specific actions. Buy this, believe this, don't look or believe that, don't empower yourself in this way, follow what this entity tells. All of these things are designed to plug us into systems that can extract from us like batteries. All of these things are designed to plug us into systems that can extract from us like batteries. I've been thinking about this for a long time, but you know how food don't taste as good as it used to. I'm in Philly, so I like tasty cakes, right? I'm over tasty cakes. You know why? Because they taste like chemicals. They don't taste like they used to taste. But you got to remember, when you're looking at the back of the packages and stuff, they're not selling us food anymore. They're selling us the experience of food. There was a documentary on Netflix. I forget what it was called. I think it's not Capitalism. It's something on Netflix. But they were talking specifically about how they push consumerism in the games, they play to push consumerism and what it's doing to the earth and where all the stuff is going and everything. But they had this one particular part about tomatoes, and they were talking about how tomatoes would spoil, like by the time they would try to get them onto the truck to get them from wherever they were at over, and let alone on boats and planes and stuff, but even just trying to get them from the farm to a local store, they would spoil. And so they started having people, scientists, engineer plants that were engineered to last longer. But then they were explaining that, like, they don't taste good. So you notice how that's what I'm saying. You notice how nothing tastes the same, because they're switching from using pure cane sugar to high fructose corn syrup. Why? Because it's cheaper. It's easier to make. They can make it from the corn. They can use all the byproducts, and it's about extracting the most money and everything from the stuff. So it's cheaper. They can use it from the corn. And there's the added bonus that the way it interacts with our body, it's addictive. So we'll buy more. The tomatoes are lasting. They look pretty. We're going to buy them because they look good, because we don't want to see blemished tomatoes or rotting tomatoes or anything like that. We're going to buy the prettiest tomato, but they don't taste like a tomato. The tasty cakes are, every time I go in, they're shaking around in the boxes now because they've gotten smaller. And you look at the ingredients, and the ingredient lists are getting longer, but they taste like shit. They're selling us the experience of food. You know what that makes me say? That makes me think of? another black woman's intellectual property, The Matrix. Remember when the guy was betraying them and he was sitting at the restaurant with the agent and he was cutting into the steak and he was like, I know that I'm not eating a steak, but the code that you got in my brain right now has me feeling like I'm eating a steak. I can feel the juice. I can taste the flavor based off of how you the program you got going. And I was like, yo, they are baby walking us, handhold walking us towards that same type of experience. They're selling us the experience of food. They're selling us the experience of vanilla. Look at the next time you have something that has any kind of vanilla flavor in it. Look at the ingredients and tell me if it says vanilla or vanillin. And vanillin's been a thing for a long time, decades. They're selling us the experience of food. What was I watching? The second, what was it called? The second Super Size Me. The movie Super Size Me, he did a sequel. And he was like, okay, I was eating the fast food. Now I'm going to show you the process of like opening your own fast food restaurant. And, you know, he decided to have a chicken sandwich shop. He went through the whole thing and, you know, he bought the chickens and showed you the process of how they buy the chicken and how they classify things as organic and all these other things, free range, all this stuff. And then the last part was he had to, they had to figure out like what kind of sandwich it was going to be. They had to figure out the sauce and the bread and everything like that. And he went to a food scientist company and they crafted a particular kind of taste. Everything, taste, texture, smell, everything is engineered. And when I say engineered, they're like, they start with the experience you want to have. So they're not like, oh, you know, you want some tomatoes or you want some lettuce and this and that. It's like, no, you want it tangy, you want it sweet, you want it, you know, to be filling, you want it this and that and the other. And then they reverse engineer the sandwich to hit all those notes, but not necessarily from, oh, we're adding these and we're just going to add a little oregano or no, we're going to spike up the salt here. We're going to dial down the sweetness here. We're going to amp up the umami here. That's how they're doing it. And it doesn't necessarily always utilize food to do, you know what I mean? Sometimes it is a chemical thing that they're doing. And or, you know, they're playing with the fat, they're playing with the this and the that. It's not necessarily about nutrition as much as it is about, like I said, that desired end result. We want it this crispy, we want it this salty, we want this much cheesiness, we want this much umami. That's how products are made nowadays. So that was a tangent, but I'm just saying, like, we're in a space where it's very important to be intentional about how we're doing things and how we're consuming things and what we're paying attention to. What aspects of the things we're paying attention to. We cannot afford to continue to be passive consumers of the things that are being shoved in front of us because none of it is for our good, is what I'm saying. We have to start being more analytical and more scrutinizing of what we're ingesting. I've been saying that about, you know, what we're ingesting through social media, but I'm also talking, you know, and I'm saying it, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me as someone who's trying to get my life together in so many different ways. I just grab what I can, right? But I'm saying even that awareness does help me to, when I'm shopping, be like, whoa, I don't want to buy that. I might still be buying some soda, but maybe I'll get some Zevia instead, you know, whatever it is. And please don't scrutinize what I eat because I still eat bad. But I'm saying I know I eat bad and I try to make some changes. Where, you know, I'm trying, but it's about it's more aware and awake. That's all I'm saying. More aware and awake. It's not about trying to you're condemned because you didn't just change what you said based on what I said. No, it's about, are you aware? I'm just letting you know. Don't forget, you're going to remember next time you see this thing, you're going to think of me. You know, like that's what I'm here to do. And I feel like that is where Ava and Solar could be with it, but now they're, their egos. But again, Ava started it. I can't say Ava started because, again, from her perspective, she's like, this girl is copying me. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like Ava started because I believe that's a story you told yourself. Do you know that for certain? Or is that just how you feel? And then from that feeling, you decided, oh, I'm fighting to save from white people. Like, how did we get here? How do white people get involved in this? I feel like you're summoning them. Not on purpose. I'm just saying. Because how do we get here? But all right, let's go to the next girl. Let's go back to Solar's response to Ava's response.
Other creators. I've done it. It's very clear that I am not against collaborating with other creators. I've done it many times. One collaboration that I decided after seeing how they responded on my behalf with a lie saying that my whole page was inspired by them. That was a lie. After seeing their reaction to our efforts to defend ourselves and let the public know we are a small business, this is what I do for a living, this is harming my business. Filing a federal lawsuit and having to just respond is extremely expensive for me personally. And I think that these little small implications here and there have to be cleaned up. So I have no problem doing that. Actions always speak louder than words. I have no problem collaborating with any creator. As a matter of fact, I say it over and over and over again. We are much stronger as a people working together than working as individuals. And I think this social media world has gotten to people's heads where they think that they are the queen of something and they want to be the sole person known for what they do. And that is completely against what I'm about. My whole being is completely against that because it is not what we need as a community, period. Moving on. As an artist myself as well, nothing is new under the sun. If you want to sit here and claim that a star is original to you, that is simply not true. Why? Because a star, like a circle, oval, rectangle, rhombus, octagon, etc., are all geometric shapes. Therefore, the next reasonable person who figures out that they can make a square with their hair then would say, oh, well, maybe I can also make a star. So even if you want to say that you came on TikTok and made people see it and now you want to be known for it, so therefore you own it, is simply null and void and goes against everything about what at its core is about, because you cannot sit here and own a geometric shape. It is not original to you. I'm sorry. It is not original to you. It's not an original shape. You know what is probably could be arguably original? An organic shape. And now let me show you an example, because this is going to be an art lesson now. Geometric and organic shapes are what makes this conversation more interesting. Because one, you can argue that the next person may think of. However, you seeing this, a hair sculpture like this. Now this hair sculpt is an organic shape. It came from my own mind. I am not going to sit here and say I invented this shape. I don't know that for a fact. I did it, and that's what's important. I just do it. I put it in the ether, and people can do whatever they want after they see this. For example here, an artist on Royal High. She apparently saw my hair sculpture and didn't tag me in it. Did I scream and say, oh no, she's making money on a video game, I need to go get her now? I don't care. You know why? Because she, although socially, she could have tagged me. Sure. Does she lawfully have to tag me? No, it's out of respect, right? I'm not going to put a federal lawsuit on a girl who put a hair sculpture in a game. Why? Because my understanding for what I do and what I want everyone watching this video to understand is that her hair, coily, natural hair, has no limit. And there should be no restriction on how anyone consumes it, sees it, experiences it, whether it be through art, through a hair extension, through Blender. It shouldn't matter because it's a hairstyle. Talking about restrictions, I run a Kickstarter campaign during April 13th and it ran through May 13th or so. And conveniently, here comes a whole Facebook thread of a person dissecting my whole character, saying that I'm anti-black because I simply said that and I'm going to put it here so people can see it because I said this, right? And now let me give you more context. As a business owner, and I'm saying this to people who are watching who has skin like me, so that you don't make this mistake. It is unprofessional to say that you don't sell your products to a person simply because of their race. That is against the law. You are not supposed to do that. I do not need people telling me that I am anti-black or against my people. It's very obvious that this whole you're anti-black, you're this, you're that happened because you and another person teamed up to make sure that you tore down my Kickstarter campaign while it was running. And I have timestamps for that. And it's right here. And I have video proof of the person vocally saying, if you want to drop out of the Kickstarter, here and circles it perfectly and everything. Now, that, to me, is anti-black. Making people drop out of another young creator's business. That's starting. That's pro-black. Please. This is actually so wrong. And I am glad that you spoke out because people are actively watching what's happening right now and they have to see it because this is what I've been dealing with in private for years. It is unlawful for me to say that I sell specifically to one race, although I make it very clear in my marketing who my target audience is. My target audience is very clear. Some may argue I should have not have said anything at all, and I'm glad that I said it because everything happens for a reason, because people need to understand this. You can make it clear to your audience who are curious, they like your art, say, hey, respectfully, it's a hair extension. It should match your hair texture because if you put it on, it may look so unnatural that it's strange. You don't have to say, you can't buy this product because you're white. Plus, I never said people could buy my products. That's another thing. I never said that, okay? So for the people who think I was insinuating the idea that I want people to buy my products, that is not true. There is a respectful way to tell people, hey, this is not for you. And that thread was a part of another thread. And it was speaking about how my experience as a business owner in the marketplace, in person, I've experienced other black people who would go to my customers who had supported me and tell them that they shouldn't be wearing my art and not once stop at my table. Never came and spoke to me. But they would take it up amongst themselves to go and tell someone else what they should or should not be wearing on their body. Now, in my opinion, it could be argued that, sure, people have a right to say, what you're doing is making me uncomfortable, but as an artist, I'm letting you all know that I make my art as a reflection of who I am. And I am not going to sit here and say that I don't want the whole world to enjoy what I do just because of their race. I had everything stolen from me, and I had to completely start over. This is what I do. I have to handle it professionally. And it's not okay to racially discriminate when I could easily make it clear my intentions through my imagery, through my marketing. These are who I do it for. My inner child is healing through my business, and it breaks my heart to see this person act the way they do because it's like, you're scaring people. Like, actually, it is scary to see what's happening right now. People may be sitting here and be like, oh, this is the best drama I've seen on TikTok in a while. No, because the children are watching. They're going to grow up. They're going to see this happening and say, is this how we really should be acting? And look at us as examples. And this is not how this should be happening. I do not know you. I can equally say, you don't know me. The proof is in the pudding. People need to have direct proof of you supposedly bullying them out of the niche, because between you and I, we know that's not true. Your followers came to me and said, hey, this person's posting things about you. I met a person that told me, I am so glad you're speaking up because I changed the niche I was doing because of this person. I am the only one who's speaking up about your behavior. And I'm gonna make it very clear to people right now. This niche is going to thrive with or without you. This niche is going to thrive with or without you, because I'm going to make it safe and welcoming for the people who come and decide that they want to do this too. Right now, you are making it unwelcoming, and I'm going to make sure that changes. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Alicia. So, having watched both of their perspectives on this, having seen the way Ava um, conceptualizes the situation, her perspective on it, this is what I think. I'm still muted. Y'all still can't hear me? You can hear me now? Okay. I think there's a little bit of a delay here too because I've been unmuted. I'm going to let some of the comments come in more so that I know we're all on the same space. Okay, you hear me now. Okay, good. Having listened to the both of them, I feel like Ava is utilizing this idea that Solar is trying to, hold the door open for white people to validate her fight against her. And now I feel like Solar is I want to say that I feel like Solar is utilizing the narrative that Ava's trying to keep people or box people out of the space. But I can't necessarily say that that Solar's wrong about that, because the way for me to see that you went to her thing, like I said, and answered for her and said, oh, she's inspired by my stuff, that I don't feel like she's the only person you've ever done that to. I could see you doing similar things to other people. And I've seen other completely unrelated content creators lash out at people who are saying to them, hey, I actually admire you. I like what you do. I'm inspired by you. I've seen creators lash out at their fans. Now, is it impossible for fans to line step? Absolutely. But I'm saying, like, I've seen people heads get gassed up in a particular kind of way before, where they lash out at people who are genuinely showing them love. And to me, that's wild. If I see somebody asking the creator who's not you, hey, where'd you get your inspiration, or whatever it was, the thing that, again, all the videos, there's videos, so you can watch it for yourselves and form your own opinions, are in the comment in the description box. But I saw where she said that Solar said someone asked her a question, and then Ava took it upon herself to get under there and say she's inspired by me. Her whole page is inspired by me, as if it were a fact, and she knew, while still saying, I don't know this person. How do you know what I'm? So there's a lot of stuff. Solar is, I think she's just the better marketer. I feel like Ava is the artist. Ava is more of an artist in my eye, a serious artist. But I feel like Solar is a better marketer, and she zeroed in on a particular kind of niche, on a different aspect of the same need, because they're both talking about little girls needing to be encouraged about their hair and shown how to utilize their hair as it is and love it and all that other stuff. They're both on the same wavelength, but I think that Solar just zeroed in on a more practical use that is more marketable. Because look, I love a book, I love literacy and everything like that, but we're in the TikTok age, baby. Products, consumer culture. You get what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I feel her where she's saying she's worried about this thing that means so much to her, and she has a very particular use for in her mind. It has a very particular use, a very particular significance in her mind. She's afraid to see it diminished into just consumerist crap. I get it. As an artist, I get it. But I feel like this could, and if they really want to make the impact that they're both saying they want to make, they need to come together. And it seems to me like Solar is more of that inclination than Ava. I think Ava is just in this space where she's just like, mine. And she would rather, and that's why I used what did I call it? What's this called? What did I name my thing? I gotta see what I named my thing. It's called, let me go back and see what it's called. It's called The Judgment of Solomon. It's a Bible story. And this is not about, I'm not trying to be religious or nothing. Again, this is someone who just has a bunch of different interests, and I know this story and everything like that. So Solomon was known for being wise in the Bible. And so he had these two women come to him because both women said that the baby that one of them had was their baby. And so what actually happened was that they both were somewhere, they lived in the same house or something like that. And one of them, they had a baby around the same time. One of their baby died. And the other one went and stole their baby and put their dead baby with them and was just like, oh, it's a shame your baby died. And so the other mother is like, absolutely not. And so they had to go to Solomon to preside over their situation and come out with a solution. And so in his wisdom, he said, well, you know what? I don't know if you the mom and I don't know if you the mom. Y'all both got a convincing case. So here's what I'm going to do. Give me a sword. I'm going to cut the baby in half and y'all each get a half. You want the head or you want the bottom? And one was like, sounds good to me. And the other one was like, just give her the baby. Just give her the baby. Just give her the baby. Because I would rather my child live as her son than to die just so she doesn't get him. And then he said, all right, give her that baby. And that's what this is feeling like to me. Like, this is feeling like that. Something is clearly meaningful to the both of them. It's very significant. But one is just really like, hey, it's mine. You know what I mean? Instead of like, you're saying, you have a book. She has puffs. And you're saying, oh, well, I actually don't even want her doing this. And she's not doing what you're doing. She's not doing what you're doing. Star puffs are if you are showing me other people doing this. So is it that you want, when somebody else is wearing a star puff, for people to automatically go Ava? That doesn't feel like it belongs to all of us. You're trying to turn star puffs into a Nike symbol. When we see a Nike symbol, we think of the Nike. Branding is a very specific thing. So you're trying to, I'm not trying to take ownership. That's exactly what you're doing, though. Because you're not saying that, oh, well, I just don't. It goes beyond just, oh, I don't want white people. Like I said, they're going to do what they want to do. If they even care. If they want some shaped puffs in their head, they're going to put some shaped puffs in their head. Because that's just how they do. But if you care about the children and she cares about the children, why can't y'all just share about the children together? Care about the children together with y'all puffs? If she want to make puffs for the mothers who just want to sweep their hair up and put them puffs on so they can get them out to school without having to worry about, oh yeah, I gotta tie it. First I gotta braid it up and then I gotta unbraid it and then I gotta squish it and then I gotta puff it and then I gotta shape it and then I gotta do. But they can just put their hair in a little buns and put the puffs on. So the girl can just feel like, my daughter, for Halloween, I was like, you could be a cowgirl. And so I like to make the costumes. That's like a tradition where I kind of put together costumes from what we have in the house. And so I had a ponytail. If any of y'all saw my vlog and my pictures from when we went and saw Beyonce, I have a ponytail. I've had it for years that has like tinsel in it. And I had mentioned, like, I'm going to put a fake ponytail in your head, under your hat. So you can have a ponytail, behind at the back, at the bottom, under your hat. And I saw her get excited. And so then I was like, you're not going to wear that ponytail. It's a different ponytail. Like, it's a more natural looking ponytail. Still was a synthetic ponytail, you know, it was longer than her hair, but it wasn't that long tinsel ponytail because I was having trouble with it at the concert. And I knew by the time she came home, it was going to be a mess. I'd never be able to wear it again. So I'm going to give you this other one a little bit more your speed. And so I remember she was kind of disappointed when I said that. But the next day when I put the ponytail on her, I saw her, she was like, I saw you feeling yourself. She said, yes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all that to say that I know the babies. Just looking at them pictures, how could you deny them that? How could you try to, you know, y'all aren't in competition for real, for real. This isn't competition. And I see Solar. Oh, you must be on the part where I'm talking about the food. I see Solar just keeps saying, like, look, I want to share the experience and this and that and the other. You coming in, oh, I do natural hair. Well, guess what, baby? Everybody's hair go through phases. Sometimes your hair break off. Sometimes stuff happens. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it is easier to just take your little hair piece and go. I don't. Is this really necessary? Like, everything she's saying she's doing, I just feel like is a cope. You know what I mean? That girl's not your enemy. You want to fight white supremacy, okay, but trying to make her the face of it, come on. Right, come on. Come on. I don't know. But yeah, so that's that. I mean, I don't know if unless something extra juicy. I think we've got all the what's it called, context we need on this. I don't know. It's a Ava should be sculpting black hair for music videos. That's what I said. So that's what I said. If you care to, if you want to go back and watch my last live that I did, I said that. I said, like, if I were, there's a story I've had in my head for a long time. And if I were to ever, you know, actually write it down and it were to become a movie or something, I would love to have Ava come and do hair sculptures and stuff for that world. It would be right up her alley. You know what I mean? She definitely has talent and she has a lane. I just think that she's watching Solar's path kind of roll out ahead of her in a way that she doesn't necessarily understand. You know, she hasn't figured out how to do that for herself yet. In her particular, you know, je ne sais quoi. She hasn't figured out how to do that for herself yet with her specific set of talents. And I think that, you know, is itching her. It's itching her ass. That old girl seems to be, you know, coming into her own. So I don't know, but like I said, she's not wrong in her inclinations to want to protect her intellectual property and the reasons why that's important for her as a Black woman in this society. She's spot on about that. I'm with her, behind her 100%, and I hope she does well. But, you know, when it comes to this particular entity in Solar, I just feel like, okay. All right. Prayers going up for everyone. Right. But that is all I got for you. Thank you again, Jamal, for sending me the video. I don't have nothing else to say. I wish them both well. I hope they're able to come together and figure this out and you know, just find peace. Find peace and with I hope they're both able to find peace with also a way forward for the little girls that they both say they are championing. I hope they find a way to move forward where the girls don't lose, the baby girls don't lose. So yeah, with that, I am going to get out of here. Oh, it's only 9:14. I may come back. I was thinking, because like I said, I was trying to get myself together to do at work. So I'll see what's going on because I might be oh wait, someone came. Well, I guess I'll hold off on saying good night.
Sorry.
Hello. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yes, good to meet you too. Appreciate you covering this topic. I also did a video on this. It was just very disheartening to see a black woman go after a black woman. So I really do appreciate you talking about the white supremacist aspect of it. It's actually, in my opinion, going into, they're taking this medium and are into a space that's predominantly white, and they're asking white people to judge us. And in our faith and my faith in Christianity, we kind of have this like, why would you go to the world and let the world judge you when your morals or standards? So yeah, I just wanted to say appreciate you and sorry I came in so late. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna jump off because I can't hear. But thank you so much.
Could you hear me? I was talking and the way you responded, it seemed like you heard me. So I'm sorry. I was talking so much and I was solely on mute. I was saying to you that I was saying to you that I appreciate you coming up. I appreciate having you here. I'm so happy that you made it here. Um, I was appreciating your engagement in the chat, and I was also shaming my regulars because I always try to get them to come up and they don't come up. So I appreciate you for coming up and talking with me. No, but all the good fun. Thank you so much for coming, even if you didn't come up.
And I'm gonna jump off, but can you on your super chat? Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. So, I mean, I would love to turn on my super chats, but that's something I have to do when I've reached a certain number of people. I'm only at, as far as I know, 631 subscribers. In order to be able to monetize in that way, I have to do, I think it's either or, something with the shorts. I'm not doing that. That's just way too much work. Or I have to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you like what I'm doing, if you want to be able to contribute, if you want to, me to be able to do super chats, please like, share, subscribe, but share to people you think would like this. Talk about me when stuff comes up that makes you think of something I said. Clip me, share me, what all the things that make people go, all the things that make people popular. Do that. She said not summoning the whites. It's so funny interacting with your comments as you're coming along and what's going on. But yeah, so that's what you guys can do if we can grow it here so that we can grow things. So like I said, I hope, and I'm saying this as somebody who, fingers crossed, knock on every bit of wood I have around me. I would hate to be in their position right now, right? Being someone who believes in intellectual property rights, but also believes in community and all of that stuff, this is a tough space to be in. But, I feel like I'm ready for more people to see me. I hope people are able to ethically and integrally interact with my stuff. And I hope that I'm able to do the same. And so, yeah, thank you so much. And let me go right now. Hold on. I'm going to go. Oh, I don't have my phone over here because it's charging. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to go over to my phone. I'm going to be following you. So look out for me to follow your channel. And I'm going to watch your video on it too, because that's what we do over here. And yeah, that is that. So I'm going to talk to you guys later. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for listening to me rant and ramble. And I will talk to you guys some other time. Let me grab this intro really quick. I thought I was going to have it together by now, but I didn't. but that's why we love it. It's authentic.